Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Hello, my beautiful YouTube family. It's such a pleasure to be with you this week. We are going to be exploring what's happening in the astral skies from the 18th to the 25th of November. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to go into the competition to win a solar return report for the month of November. We're getting towards the end of November, can you believe it? And as you know, every month I announce a winner for a solar return report. So if you want to go into that competition, you need to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know you've done so. And stay tuned to upcoming videos on this channel so that you can hear the announcement and see if you are the winner of a free solar return or year ahead written report. So let's dive right in now to what's unfolding in the week ahead. Looking at the astral energies, on the 23rd of November, we've got the sun here moving into Sagittarius, leaving Scorpio and moving into Sagittarius. The sun is a fire planet moving into a fire sign, so we're going to shine, shine, shine. It is a special time for our Sagittarian friends out there watching this video, a period that also marks the beginning of the celebratory season for many of us. Many religious festivals culminate at the end of the Sagittarian period. So this is the lead up to that period. So not just Christmas, but pagan festivals like Saturnalia was celebrated at the end of the Sagittarius sun season. So there's a lot of festivities and end of work celebrations that come now. And Sagittarius is a very celebratory sign. In fact, just to touch on a bit of astrological rulership, Sagittarius rules ceremonies and celebrations. So there you go. Now, there might be a spotlight on our faith during this time, this influence of the sun here, and your beliefs might need to take a bit of a step out from behind the curtain. You might need to own your beliefs and celebrate your beliefs and align with your beliefs in some way. Don't be afraid to share your opinions now, my friends. And with this playful, good-natured energy that Sagittarius brings, just be sure to avoid dogma, which is the shadow side of Sagittarius, and an overinflated opinion of what you think you know. For some people, travel might be on the cards under this influence, or at least it might be on your mind. It's definitely time for a little adventure with the sun in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, also on the 23rd of November, the sun is going to be making a square aspect to Saturn here in Pisces. Now, this is not so fun, I must say. This is at 0 degrees of both Sagittarius for the sun and Pisces Saturn placement. Are you feeling a bit constricted on the 23rd of November, my friends? Well, a bit like you could squish your confidence down into a matchbox. It's that small. I know, it's a very sucky energy, but it too will pass. It happens twice a year. We get this square from the sun to Saturn, and so we just have to ride it out as best we can. So let yourself feel a little bit lackluster under this energy, and if you need to sleep it off, do so. Our vitality can be at a low point with this particular combination. You might feel like you're experiencing a lack of support in your life. Well, if you are, what can you do? Not much about that, but you could reach for your flannelette PJs or a box of chocolate and an old teddy to cuddle and put on that great film you love and just let this energy pass by and be over. If you're feeling like the waiting for something to unfold in life, something to happen in life will never end. This isn't going to hurry it up, this energy, that's for sure. But why not stretch out on the lawn, soak up some rays, have a little tropical cocktail while you wait? Doing so could be just the mitigating energy that you need to feel a little bit more balanced. So that's another strategy if you want to enforce that. Essentially, there's no point in fighting this heavy energy. The only way to dance with Saturn and the Sun in square is to practice acceptance and patience and stoicism. Endurance is the name of the game, my friends. So find your best way to do so and just be present in that. And before you know it, this energy will be done and dusted for another 6 months. Then also on the 23rd of November, so there's lots happening on the 23rd energetically in the sky. Jupiter over here in Taurus is going to be making a conjunction to a very important fixed star, a fixed star that many of you will never have heard of before, but it's important because this fixed star, Hamal is its name, at 7 degrees of Taurus. It's a projected fixed star. It doesn't sit on the ecliptic plane, but in the system of projecting fixed stars, it is projected to 7 degrees of tropical Taurus. This fixed star was involved in the recent full moon eclipse that took place in Taurus at 5 degrees. So Hamal, as a fixed star, was involved in the full moon eclipse on the 29th of October. So what can we expect when Jupiter makes a conjunction with that fixed star at 7 degrees of Taurus on the 23rd of November? We can expect an expansion of the themes of that eclipse might occur at this time, because Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and it's touching a very sensitive point in the sky and reactivating a lot of those eclipse themes for you. So there could be a result of something that happened for you around the 29th of October that occurs here. There could be maybe you experience some kind of event and suddenly that event and all of its implications get bigger in your life around the 23rd of November, because Jupiter will expand the themes of that event that occurred around the 29th of October. And you can include the week before the 29th of October and the week after as well, anything that happened around that period. So expect that there might be some eventualities, some continuation, some growth of that particular event or circumstance or person in your life that was brought about by the eclipse. So what else might we be seeing? Well, it's an 11-day stint that Jupiter is going to be retrograding across the fixed star Hamal. And then Jupiter will actually move even closer to the point of the eclipse, which occurred at 5 degrees of Taurus. So currently it's 7 degrees, and then we'll move back to 6 degrees after this 11-day stint with Hamal. But Hamal is acting as a trigger point because there's something there. It's not just empty dark matter and space. There's a triggering factor with Hamal being there. That's why this is important. So positive and negative can come out of this. Even though Jupiter is the great benefic, it can still bring both positive and negative effects to bear. On a world stage, and we're already seeing this happening, we could experience an even greater level of frustration with authority figures. We're all a bit fed up with how pathetic they are and their egotism. I could go on and on for hours about how sick of the selfishness and the corruption we are. But this conjunction of Jupiter with Hamal is going to amplify that and grow that, So on the world stage, we might see more protests. We might see more people, just speaking out against the corruption and the hideousness of our authority figures and their evil and how they've gotten into these positions of power through corrupt means, not through their merit, not through their great leadership skills, but through their absolute corruption. So we're going to see more of that, speak out against that more, and be frustrated, I've got to say, by that more than usual. I'm not looking forward to that because I'm already frustrated about it all. But anyhow, that's Jupiter with Hamal at this point. Might cause more of that on the mundane astrology level. But in an individual capacity, Jupiter with Hamal, especially if it's triggering something in your own personal astrology chart, like your ascendant, your moon, your sun, those sorts of things, this conjunction might make us more successful in pioneering ventures. So anything where we're wanting to establish something new or grow something new or, step out of the usual mainstream and do something in a pioneering way, we can be successful at that. And also at a personal level, it can help us land on our feet in a certain circumstance. So I just remind you, look back at what happened around the full moon eclipse that occurred on the 29th of October. Is there any way that you could land on your feet with circumstances that unfolded then? Is there any way you could establish some sort of pioneering behavior or entrepreneurial action that began back then? Well, this is the energy that is going to help you move ahead with those sorts of things that began back around the time of the eclipse. This fixed star is a forceful star of action, just to quote one of my teachers, and it gives strength of will and it gives determination. So this is an 11-day period, this conjunction of Jupiter with Hamal, that will be a time when your own personal bravery and courage can pay dividends in your life. I would just say, even though Jupiter is a financial planet, financial speculations with Hamal are actually discouraged under Hamal's enhanced influence. So I'm not talking about being courageous or brave with financial riskiness or risks, but other areas of life, yes, big tick. So have you been needing a dose of courage, my friends? You've been needing to break away from the status quo with some kind of independent action? This conjunction on the 23rd of November actually has your back. There's no better time like the present to make moves. We're going to be breaking this down and the energy of this combination for all signs in the All Signs Breakdown. But before we get to that, on the 24th of November, the day after this conjunction, we're going to see Mars moving into Sagittarius. So Mars, little old Mars down here at Scorpio, final degree, and then catching up with the rest of the planets that are doing some, getting jiggy with it around the first or 0 degrees of Sagittarius. Mars going to join them. So we know, because we talked about this in last week's Astro Weather Report, that Mars and the Sun made a conjunction that's going to establish things for the next 2 years. Check out the last week's Astro Weather Report if you want to know about how you're going to have a fresh beginning that's going to unfold over the next 2 years. But Mars is tailgating the Sun right now, and so it's going to move on the 24th of November into Sagittarius too. Again, we have a fire planet in a fire sign, so get ready for a bit of a feisty energy in this case, as is the nature of Mars. If you're stirred up, you're going to want to take some action and do something about it. And aren't we all a bit stirred up about what's unfolding on the planet right now, and the injustices and the innocents who are suffering and so on? So this is coming because of the agitation of Sun and Mars in a dance together, and it's going to continue into the coming week, being stirred up by a fire planet now moving into a fire sign. Patience will be forgotten. Restless momentum is the name of the game with Mars moving here. But it can also be a playful and fun energy though. So let's keep that in mind in our personal lives. We'll be able to inject some good humor into our actions. Mars does very well in the sign of Sagittarius, thank goodness. So we might find that under this energy, Mars in Sagittarius, especially with the Sun here too, that we have the ability to convince others of our perspectives in this passionate planet, in this passionate sign of ethics and beliefs. So we have to again be mindful of dogmatism and forcing our opinions on others where it's not wanted, but speaking our truth, putting our passion out there is, it's well supported now, and it's a good time to do so. Sun, Mars in Sagittarius, the sign of beliefs, the sign of morals and ethics, combined with the passion that arises with Jupiter conjunct Hamal, Jupiter being the ruling sign of Sagittarius, and the dispositor of the Sun and Mars at this time. So big emphasis on speaking your truth, on sharing your convictions and being passionate about it. No sort of dogmatism and, my way or the highway kind of thing, but just putting it out there. It's time. If you're feeling compelled to offer your point of view to the world, then this is an energy that speaks to us doing so, sharing truth, sharing what is important to you right now. We also, this isn't an energy that's going to support us allowing others to have different points of view, and we need to be very conscious of that. What I mean by that is there's going to be a lot of different points of view out there. Respect is kind of something we need to be consciously activating, other people are entitled to their point of view, and that's okay, as you are entitled to your point of view. But we need to respect the differing opinions now, or else the whole world could just go and explode, okay? So put your opinion out there, because it might be just what somebody needs to hear, and it might, open the understanding of somebody who's in a state of confusion or deliberating or not really clear about things. But allow other people to have differing opinions and points of view right now, because otherwise we're going to just divulge into craziness, even worse than what we're already seeing. Okay, so heavy duty energy, but let's keep it on the playful side with Sagittarius if we can. Let's keep some good humor and some perspective in what we undertake in the coming week. All right, it's going to be an interesting one. We're in very interesting climatic times, aren't we? Let's break this down, for all signs. We have, on the 23rd of November, I'm looking this week at Jupiter conjunct Hamal. And remember, this is all about forceful action, taking forceful action, having more independence, using your willpower and determination. It's about being pioneering in some way, being brave in some way, and potentially landing on your feet. Remember, no financial speculations, anyone? And the shadow side of this is that our tempers might flare and we might have frustration with authority figures. So let's see what's going on for all signs. Let's start with Taurus, where it's all going down with Jupiter and Hamal at the degree of the previous eclipse. So here, if Taurus is your rising sign, sun sign, or moon sign, you're going to experience this energy in the first house of you. You will be feeling pioneering. You will be feeling more brave. You will be exhibiting more willpower and determination now. And this might be in relation to where you physically exist, because the first house is the house of the body. So you're physically existing at in a town or with a family or in a career. Your physical existence in whatever scenario is going to require more willpower, more determination, more bravery now, and you'll have what it takes to bring your courage into whatever circumstance your physical existence, your physical presence is in. Now, the first house is also a house of initiating new things, starting new things. So I am getting the impression, my Taurus friends, that this is a very exciting time this week for you to be starting new things, pioneering new things, creating some sort of entrepreneurial endeavor, organizing some new startup, brand new beginning for you in some way. And that could be in any field. Brand new beginning with a new home or a new friendship or a new dynamic with your children, that sort of thing. There is the initiation of something new here in your life. This is also the realm of the chart that is about the first impressions that we give, our aura, our energy. And so you might have a new chance under this influence to make a brand new first impression. But do be careful if you meet new people this week. With the conjunction of Hamal and Jupiter, you might be giving the impression of being a very independent person who doesn't need help. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think that's quite good. You might be giving the impression of somebody who is full of willpower and determination, bravery. You might be giving the impression, and this is the shadow side of this energy, of somebody with quite a temper that can flare up very easily and, your anger just is at the surface, and people sense that, because that's another shadow side manifestation of this energy as well. For our Taurus people, you particularly might be feeling that your survival is threatened by authority figures, and therefore it leads to this level of frustration with authority figures that I spoke about in the intro. So something might happen with, maybe a government official, or a boss, or police officer, or somebody in a position of power over and above you, that irritates you, frustrates you, and to your mind threatens your ability to thrive and flourish and blossom here on the planet. That threatens your journey of your body in this lifetime in some way, or feels like a threat to you. So you might be feeling frustrated. You might be feeling irritated by that circumstance in the coming week ahead. The first house also represents what we align with. What we feel on par with. So this is an energy of forceful action. You're going to feel like, if you see somebody protesting in the street, you're going to be like, yeah, I want to go join them and align with that energy of, speaking out. We talked about the speaking out, which is occurring here in your 8th house with Mars and the Sun in Sagittarius. But, in this influence of Jupiter with Hamal is that way too. Align with wanting to speak out and be independent and take some determined action. So it could see some of our Taurus friends protesting or writing letters to, various government departments, sharing information from social media about things that you're not happy with in the world. There's this real energy of, I'm aligning with bravery now. I'm aligning with a pioneering spirit. I'm aligning with people speaking out and taking forceful action. So that is really what I'm feeling for a lot of our Taurus friends this week. I hope that helps you in the journey that you're undertaking this week, Taurus. And I just want to remind you that readings with me are now available through the website. See the website for details, links in the description below. And remember that prices are in Australian dollars. So when you look on there, and let's say you're from Europe or America, generally the price is going to be a lot cheaper than your dollar, because in Australia, our exchange rate works in your favor, not Australia's favor. So check out the readings with me and come and let me explore your astrology chart. Thank you, Taurus. Now we're going to move on, to Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon people, which will put the conjunction of Jupiter with fixed star Hamal here in the 12th house. And this is the realm of life where you're going to feel, forceful action and maybe some flared tempers and so on. Now, you might be feeling frustrated in some way, but because of this energy in the shadow side, but you might not understand why, and I get this from time to time. I'm just agitated and I can't put my finger on why. Well, 12th house is things that are hidden from our understanding. It's where we feel out of control. So if you feel frustrated, if you feel angry, if you feel tenacious and, like you've got to force some action in your life, but you're like, I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. There's no accounting for it. That's the nature of the 12th house. So be prepared that might be how it unfolds. Fortunately, this is a protected house for you, Gemini, at this moment in time, because Jupiter is associated with the 12th house and connects with the 12th house. It's a planet of faith in a house of faith. It's a planet of liberation in a house of liberation. So even if you feel out of control, even if you can't understand why you're feeling the way you are this week, know that you are protected. Jupiter energy here. Now, this could also be bringing to the fore some sort of past life experience and karma even. If you have felt victimized, if you have felt disadvantaged or the underdog in a previous incarnation, or maybe even early in this lifetime, it's going to be the trigger for you. Even if you're not consciously aware of it, it's going to trigger for you this desire for independence, this desire to exert your willpower in a certain situation with certain people, and a desire to be brave. rest assured that Jupiter conjunct with Hamal can allow you to land on your feet. And why will you land on your feet? Because the angels and the ancestors and higher beings on the other side are pulling the strings and helping you to be successful with Jupiter conjunct Hamal. Now, this is a liberation house and what is known as a moksha house in Vedic astrology. So it often has to do with letting things go. And I would encourage you to be as conscious about your feelings and behavior as you can this week, Gemini, so that you can let go of the negative shadow side of Jupiter conjunct Hamal, which might be a flared temper. You know, you're feeling angry, you're feeling frustrated with authority figures, that sort of bubbling up of like wanting to burst out like a volcano. And consciousness is your friend here. And because it's a moksha house, I want to encourage you to dissolve or let go of that feeling of irritation in whatever ways you can. So you might like to practice acceptance of the circumstances that you're in. You might like to, as I spoke of in the introduction, find a mechanism that allows you to find a peacefulness. You know, if it's hot where you are, go for a swim in the lake or the river and just lie there in the water and look up at the clouds. You know, let it flow out of you, this energy of frustration and flared tempers and irritation that might come with this combination. Prayer is seen through the 12th house. And so praying to the divine, praying to your ancestors, praying to the higher beings is a mechanism that you can use to sort of soothe, if you like, those irritations and frustrations as well. Sleeping it off is another strategy. Escaping into fantasy is another healthy way that we can utilize 12th house energy. So that might look like, you know, putting on a good film and just, you know, leaving your frustrations behind as you enter into the world of Frodo or whoever it is that you want to watch on the big screen. That can help you let things go. Other forms of escapism might be just going and having a massage. These are good things to do because there is a level of tension with Jupiter and Hamal conjunction. It's a good idea to mitigate that with 12th house healthy escapism. The thing is, Jupiter for a Gemini rising person is the 10th house lord in the 12th. And so it could be that you are feeling frustrated with bosses, with people in authority over you. We've already spoken about that, but particularly employers rather. So I just want to highlight that for you so that if that happens, you'll know why and you'll be like, Kesenya said, all right, I'm going to just take it easy. I'm going to chill and just let this energy pass. Also in a Gemini chart, Jupiter is the 7th house lord in the 12th. So it could be a spouse, it could be a partner or a business collaborator that's causing this flared temper within you. So just know that could be where these issues are coming from. You might be inclined to want to take forceful action against a boss or a spouse or a business partner. Is that really wise? Take that time out that the 12th house speaks to consider and evaluate and just find some peace before you take that forceful action, before you exert your willpower or with determination in that situation with those other people. Okay? Just don't rush in, would be what I'd say. Weigh things up, consider before you act. And it might be that you're speaking up on some issue that requires some bravery with your boss or with a partner of some description. Like I said, time to consider and time to maybe write out your feelings in a thoughtful manner is encouraged with this combination so that you don't rush in and then create a difficult situation. Heads up on that one, Gemini. Oh, you've gone for a walk. Not at all surprising. Gemini is a very restless energy. Thank you, Gemini. All right. Cancer rising, Cancer sun, and Cancer moon people. Cancer's feeling like a bit restless as well by the looks of things on my astro wheel. So Cancer, Gemini, I just want to mention, that readings with me are now available. Prices on my website are in Australian dollars. And so I would encourage you to check that out. If you're from America or Europe, keep in mind that it's going to be actually very cheap for you to purchase a reading from me. Just check out the website for more details. Okay, moving along, 23rd of November for Jupiter conjunct Hamal at 7 degrees of Taurus. This is occurring for you in the 11th house, my Cancer friends. So what does this mean for you? Well, this is the house of where you can be profitable and gainful, and what type of energy you need to embrace to be profitable and gainful in life. And for my Cancer friends, this Jupiter conjunction with Hamal at the degree of the recent eclipse might require you to be forceful in action in order to achieve gains in life. It might require you to do something independently in order to see some manifestation. It might require you to exert your willpower in a certain situation. So maybe, you've been waiting for someone to, something was established around the eclipse that looked like it could be promising and looked like it could bring benefit and gainfulness into your life, but nothing's happening. You've sort of been sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting. Well, my beautiful Cancer rising sun or moon people, this energy says it's time to speak up. It's time to take action, time to contact that person or move ahead with those plans that were established around the time of the 29th of October eclipse. It's time to be brave and put it out there, whatever it was, so that you can land on your feet, so that you can see some momentum that will come of that now. So I just encourage you, speak to that person, contact that company, follow up on that submission that you made. Be courageous, be brave, take some action, because this is the house of gainfulness. And with this energy, gainfulness, profit and reward comes at this time for the next 11 days from you taking that action, from you being determined. So it will be a promising energy if you're willing to follow its lead in that regard. This is also the realm of the chart that has to do with groups, political parties, organizations and clubs, and because this is an energy that has a shadow side, Jupiter conjunct with Hamal, where tempers might flare and frustration with authority figures is a warning bell that might happen. Be prepared that if you're involved in any political activism or political parties or something, you could be really irritated by something that goes on. If you're part of a club or a group, there could be something that happens with the leadership in that group that really pisses you off. So be conscious and aware that that could be one of the manifestations. Knowledge is power. I say it all the time. If you know this is why something is occurring energetically, you can act with more awareness, consciousness, and sort of not mitigate that feeling within you, but act wisely regarding that feeling. So that's another way this might manifest. The 11th house represents community property or places where big groups gather. And so there might be a lot of, on the library steps or maybe the sports arena or something, there might be some protests going on with this energy. There might be people getting angry in those sort of public places where big groups gather, communal areas. There might be a lot of activism going on. There might be a lot of people speaking up, sharing their truth, their beliefs, their passions. That's not a bad thing to do. We need people to sort of not rebel. That's not the word I'm looking for, but to sort of raise awareness of what is not working in society right now. So you might be inclined to want to go and join those people or to speak your truth in a public place. If you're not inclined to want to go and do that, you might observe people. There might be people in your sphere who are doing that sort of thing, who are taking forceful action or some independent action in a public place, on some communal property where big groups gather. So you might observe that playing out. These people are being brave, they're being pioneering, and remember I spoke of in the introduction, we need to be respectful of the opinions of others in the coming week. This is also the realm of the chart that has to do with effective networking. And I would encourage you, my beautiful Cancer friends, to be brave about networking. You know, you might go to a business lunch or something like that, and I want to encourage you to go up to that person that you feel you need to speak to instead of being shy. Put yourself out there. Take forceful action to go and meet and greet and interact socially with people, because it will be to your advantage in the long run. Be brave is the energy of Jupiter conjunct Hamal. Be brave about your networking. Go for it. You might find that you develop or create more friendships, but also more profitable connections that are going to serve you well over the next 6 months. Remember, this is activating the point of the eclipse that occurred on the 29th of October. So get into it, my friends. Take action. Be brave. Make new friendships. Make new connections. You will not regret it at this time. This is also, Jupiter is the Lord here of the 9th house. There might be some foreign people that you can interact with and network with. You might be networking in a foreign place or a place you're unfamiliar with. Also, Jupiter is the Lord down here of the 6th house. So I really feel that many of you will be perhaps networking with people who you might feel are from the lower socioeconomic classes, or people who are who are the underdogs or disadvantaged in some way. But this is a potential for you to take some sort of, again, pioneering, brave action that could really pay off in the long run. So don't be afraid to hobnob and associate with people who are from what you might perceive as the lower classes, or people who are disadvantaged or different from you in some way, because this energy speaks to benefit and success and landing on your feet in some way because of these people groups. So, lose your pride is what I would say to Cancer people, and don't be afraid to interact and socialize and connect with people who are different to you, from a foreign place or a different culture, or from a lower strata of society. If you're brave about that and pioneering about that, you will land on your feet. Thank you, Cancer. All right, Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon people. Well, the energy of Jupiter conjunct fixed star Hamal this week. I was out last night under the stars, and I saw Jupiter is so bright at the moment because it's retrograde. And I was observing Jupiter and looking for Hamal. There was a bit too much light pollution, couldn't quite see it. But I was looking, thinking, yep, this is what's coming. Jupiter just moving just a slight little bit's going to bang with fixed star Hamal. For my Leo friends, this is influencing your career sector. So very, very exciting. Jupiter conjunct Hamal on the 23rd of November at 7 degrees of Taurus might mean that you can now apply some forceful action or an essence of your willpower and determination into your career. So, Leo friends, what do you need to do to be pioneering in your career, to be brave about something in your career now? It's time. This energy says you could land on your feet, you could experience success by being brave. Maybe you need to approach your boss about a new idea you've had. Maybe if you're an independent, got your independent career going or something, you need to sort of get out of your comfort zone with something and try something new. Maybe you need to approach other professionals, marketers or people of power and influence, and you need to be brave about approaching these people with great power and influence that can support your career growth. So, my friends, if you're a Leo, this is one way that you can utilize this energy of Jupiter conjunct Hamal to your advantage. I would also suggest to be careful, Leo, because this is the realm of the chart that has to do with authority figures, and when Jupiter conjuncts Hamal, it indicates a frustration with authority figures. So you Leo people are going to feel it perhaps more than any other sign, this irritation with people in leadership. And let's face it, we all know that a lot of people are in leadership positions who don't deserve to be there. We have this illusion, my friends, that we live in a meritocracy where the best people rise to the top. It's not true. We often have shit people at the top, and that can cause so much frustration So much frustration. I saw it when I worked in government. I see it in politics all the time. Hierarchical business organizations. It's not what you know, it's who you know. We know this is the case. Nothing could be more frustrating to a Leo person who actually has leadership skills, who has the capacity to be up front, to be the kingly one, the queenly one. We're not going to be too gender specific here, but you have these skills and abilities, and when there's people over and above you who are just shitheads and in a position of leadership, it's so irritating. So be forewarned, forearmed, my beautiful Leo friends. It could push your buttons this week. Be conscious, don't react. Try and keep some equilibrium. And if you need to sort of, chill or find your zen in some way, then do it, because it could be very, very irritating, and we don't need that stress in our lives, do we? Now, the 10th house is the house of where we can be an example to other people. And so through independent action, through your bravery or your pioneering spirit, the energy of Jupiter conjunct Mars, you this week might be able to not only benefit your own life, but be the leader that you are, Leo. Be an inspiration to other people. It can lead to landing on your feet in terms of public visibility and popularity and approval from the masses or from people out there. It may, by being brave, you might even receive a round of applause from a boss or an authority figure or a leader in some way, because this is a house that has to do with approval and reputation. And so because Jupiter with Hamal can help you to land on your feet, even though you're frustrated about these leaders and authority figures who are just pathetic, you can still land on your feet by being brave. And I would just also say being diplomatic and stoic and not getting your feathers ruffled. You can actually achieve a great deal this week in terms of your own reputation, visibility, popularity, and public approval. So the 10th house has to do with what action we need to take to gain respect and success. And so this week, it's about being brave. It's about being courageous. It's about taking a step forward and not sort of hiding in the shadows, Leo. Okay, keep that in mind. Also in a Leo chart, Jupiter is the ruler of your 8th house. And so this might indicate that you need to break away from the mainstream, from the expected. That's a very 8th house, is to sort of turn things around completely 180 degrees, to break away from some old mindset, to break away from some old form of leadership. So some of you might be thinking, with this combination, this is the time for me to launch out and develop my own career and be pioneering, to leave this organization where there's, authority figures who I don't agree with, who are rubbing me the wrong way. Hello, Leo, you might be inclined to break away and pioneer your own consultancy or your own business of some description. You might be very inspired to do that this week, because the 8th house lordship has to do with turning things around 180 degrees and breaking away from what is traditional, what is expected. Also, Jupiter rules the 5th house for a Leo person, Sagittarius. So 5th house lord in the 10th can see, again, by doing so, a rise in popularity, maybe a rise in celebrity, just blessing to your public visibility and your social status, because 5th house is a house of blessing and luck. So really, I think for Leo people, by taking your own strides forward now, you can land on your feet. 5th house is supporting you to break away. 5th house lord in the 10th, to break away from some old stagnant career experience or relationship with authority figures. So once again, I just reiterate, be pioneering, be brave, take some independent action. And I think the universe is supporting you this week in establishing something new that way. So my Leo friends, just to conclude, readings with me are now available through my website, links in the description below. And I just want to let people know that prices on my website are in Australian dollars. And so if you're in Europe, if you're in the USA, the exchange rate is really in your benefit. I do list euros and US dollars as well on my website, just so people know, but the main pricing is in Australian dollars, and you're going to have a bargain if you're from Europe or the USA and want to order a reading with me. So head on over and let me check out your chart on your behalf. Thank you, my friends. All right. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon people. The energy of Jupiter conjunct fixed star Hamal at 70 degrees of Taurus is happening in your 9th house. So this is, this is where you're going to feel pioneering and brave, and that you might be required to take some sort of independent, sort of determined action. And this might have to do with your involvement with another culture, your ability to travel, with your belief systems. I really feel for a lot of Virgo people, Virgo people can be they're very gentle people. And here with this energy unfolding, you might be required to step out and speak up now, to share your truth with other people, to be brave about saying what you really think, Virgo. Not sort of hiding behind, the mainstream opinion. This is time, Virgo, for speaking out your truth. You might find that your temper flares because somebody or some media outlet or some circumstances are just flying in the face of your beliefs, your morals, your ethics, and you just can't keep quiet anymore. Well, this energy of Jupiter conjunct Hamal says you need to be brave. You need to be speaking your truth this week. You need to be sharing what you really stand for. That's very 9th house. So I encourage you, don't be afraid. This is an energy of potentially landing on your feet as well. So in doing so, you might get lucky. And this is a blessed house. There could be a blessing that awaits you for standing up and speaking your truth where you've been too afraid to in the past. Very important for my Virgo friends. The 9th house has to do with a big picture view as well. And with Jupiter here in the 9th house, conjunct Hamal, you will, I feel, be gaining some insight, some wisdom, some knowledge that alerts you to the big picture game of what's unfolding in the world and what's really happening. So keep your eyes peeled, be open to new knowledge entering in. You might be quite amazed with the revelations that you have, the downloads that you get, the perception that you have. You might even find your opinions changing somewhat through what you see and what you hear and what you read right now. This is it's the 5th house from the 5th, so it does speak to a perfected intelligence. Again, I just come back to, you might receive some information that really broadens your mind and alerts you to the truth. It is a house of good karma, so don't be afraid, once again, to share how you feel and to share your morals and ethics and beliefs, because there could be a karmic blessing that awaits for you to do so. You mightn't see results in the immediate, but down the track, this is a house of good karma, undertaking this sort of action. It's a very action-oriented combination, Jupiter with Hamal. Undertaking some sort of action can lead to good karmic consequences for you in the future. So once again, be brave, don't be afraid. You may very well land on your feet in the long term. What else can I say about this? This is a house that has to do with foreign cultures and faraway places that are different to where you live, where what you're familiar with. It's where we get out of our comfort zone. And the shadow side of this energy, Jupiter with Hamal, is frustration with authority figures. I do feel, Virgo, that you might be getting, as we all are on the planet right now, very irritated and frustrated this week by the behavior of authority figures in other countries, in faraway places, in cultures that are far away from you. Just irritation with leadership. And let's face it, I'm not telling anybody anything new. We are all frustrated with leadership in faraway places at the moment, as well as leadership in our own countries. But again, this could be particularly exacerbated for our Virgo friends. And I'm talking, as I speak then, about sort of the big picture of, mundane astrology, what's going on in the world, but it could be happening for you at a personal level. Let's say that you're wanting to, fly to Peru, and the authority figures in Peru are just feeling frustrating to you. They're taking too long to give you your visa, or they're asking too many questions about what you need to provide, and you're like, this is ridiculous, just give me my visa. Frustration with authority figures in faraway places could be felt at a very personal level for our Virgo friends in the coming week. Now, Jupiter here is also the 7th house lord. It rules Pisces in the 9th. So you might be needing to sort of be exhibiting some sort of pioneering spirit with a partner, with sort of international collaborations. The 7th house is collaborations and business contracts that are playing out for you on an international level. You might need to be assertive and brave, or even pioneering regarding an international contractual situation or a business situation, or with a personal partner in a faraway place. Maybe your partner, Virgo, has to travel to a faraway place or a different culture, and maybe they are the ones. Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, might be representing that they are the ones who need to be forceful and independent with some sort of international travel or a cultural situation that they find themselves in. So Virgo, it mightn't be necessarily applying to you. It might be your partner that's experiencing this, your partner who's having trouble with the visa application that I spoke of, your partner that needs to be brave about going to some other destination. Jupiter also rules the 4th house for Virgo people, so the place of living. You might be, and this applies to you now, not necessarily the partner, Virgo, but you might be living out of a suitcase this week because you have to travel. And it might require you to be brave to travel to a certain place and live out of a suitcase for a while, because Jupiter in the 9th house of faraway places, it's not really an energy for putting down roots. It's quite the opposite. It's about being independent and taking action. So I do feel for some of you Virgo people, there will be some travel that, you'll be living out of motels. You might be required to be more brave and independent about undertaking those trips. So that's what I'm feeling for my Virgo people. Don't forget, Virgo, that readings with me are now available through my website. And I just want to let you know that the prices are in Australian dollars. So if you are in America or you pay with euros, it's going to be so much cheaper because the Australian exchange rate is rubbish. So get in, book a nice cheap reading with me, and I'd love to explore your chart, my Virgo friends. Okay, Libra rising, Libra sun and Libra moon people. Well, for we Librans, the energy of Jupiter conjunct Hamal is being impactful in the 8th house. And this is where we might require some sort of forceful action to make things happen. Now, the 8th house is a house of breaking away. It's a house of breaking away. Like it's the 12th house from the 9th, and that indicates a breaking away from your belief systems that you might have been brought up with, or morals or ethics that you aligned with in the early part of life. That's what the 12th house from the 9th indicates. It's very much a house of breaking away from the moral stance you've always taken. So here, this week, with Jupiter conjunct Hamal, you might find that you need to be brave about breaking away from the belief systems you've always had or always aligned with. You need to exert some sort of willpower or determination in the moral stance that you take. Maybe you need to speak up to somebody and say, hey, I don't agree with where you're coming from. You might have thought I always had this perspective, but I'm here to tell you I'm breaking away from my allegiance with that belief pattern that you have. So it could be a boss, could be a friend, it could be somebody who, somebody who's very vocal about their beliefs, and you need to sort of break away from alliance with that belief or that moral stance they're taking. So Jupiter with Hamal is all about being brave, pioneering, taking forceful action or being independent, and in this case, independently minded, that might cause you to break away from a certain philosophy, a certain belief, a certain moral stance that somebody else has, which could be challenging. Libran people, we love to people please. We love to make everybody happy around us. We don't actually, this is really hitting home, we don't actually like to speak our truth too readily. And I'm not talking on a big world scale here necessarily. It could be a personal thing. You know, don't want to sort of rock the boat or upset anybody by speaking our truth. But this Jupiter conjunct Mars might say, hey, you need to this week for your own peace of mind, for your own satisfaction. And you know what, Libra, in doing so, Jupiter conjunct Mars can indicate that you might land on your feet if you do so. You might be speaking to a partner about something that is frustrating you. Well, Libra, you might need to say something and break away from your normal imperative of just, live and let live. It might be your children. It might be your boss. It might be, a friend. It could be somebody that you need to assert yourself with, speak your truth, maybe rock the boat a bit, but ultimately it's going to help you land on your feet. Now, the 8th house is also authority figures. And this is the 8th house, sorry, not the 8th house, this energy of Jupiter with Hamal is about frustration with our authority figures. And the 8th house is about authority figures who are people like shaman or psychologists who have a position of authority in your life, even astrologers. It can also represent people like, surgeons. Surgeons have a level of authority as well. And so, also on the shadow side, the 8th house has to do with mafia bosses, mafia figures. And so this is an energy of being frustrated with people in those positions of authority in your life. So maybe you're due to have an operation and you're frustrated with the surgeon this week. Maybe, you observe a mafia boss, doing the dirty or whatever, or you hear about it. I mean, God, they practically run the governments. So, just look at politics and you're pretty much inclined to be watching mafia mobs play out right there. But frustration with those circumstances, those people in your life is likely to be the case. You might observe a shaman swindling somebody. I'm not saying that this is an energy for people in those authoritative industries to be doing wrong, but you might observe them doing something wrong, but you might also be annoyed with their approach or their perspective or something like that. You might hear an astrologer speak. You might be listening to me and go, Kesenya's full of it. I've had enough of her, It can indicate frustration with astrologers in positions of authority. That can be the case. I hope it's not, my beautiful Librans, but it could be the case. Are you seeing a psychologist and they really rub you the wrong way this week? These sorts of things. Act with consciousness when you're dealing with those 8th house figures who are in authority. You don't need to, cause a big explosion, and Librans aren't usually likely to do that. You don't need to cause a big reactivity and, argy-bargy and so forth. But equally, maybe you need to speak your truth forcefully, Jupiter conjunct Mars. You need to be brave and lay it on the line with such people. Don't like the way you're treating me here. Don't like what you're saying. Can you please adjust your words, or whatever the case may be? There is a need for forceful action and assertiveness with Jupiter conjunct Mars in the 8th house, so with 8th house people, 8th house authority figures. This is also the realm of the chart that has to do with what we receive from others, the support we're getting from others. So it can simply mean that you need to speak up about how others might, are taking advantage of you materially. I need more support from you. You might say to your partner, I need you to step up financially and provide more input into our family life, or so it could be a business partner, it could be your personal partner. This is the house of other people and the support materially, morally, that we get from other people. You might need to speak up and take some, be assertive towards those people. Anybody, really. It could be that there's a will that's being discussed and you stand to benefit, but, there's other people involved and maybe you need to be assertive. Maybe you need to take forceful action regarding that inheritance, that will now, Libra. It could be that you need to take forceful action about a tax situation and speak up, or be brave about, approaching some sort of income tax situation that you're dealing with. Taxation returns are seen from the 8th house. Some sort of payout you need to sort of speak to your boss about and say, hey, I didn't get my appropriate payout. What's going on? Windfalls. That maybe you need to be brave about some kind of circumstance with a windfall or something like that. So this is likely to, whatever happened around 29th of October when the eclipse occurred around here, this is likely to be a re-triggering of that energy. So pay attention to what happened in the week before and the week after the 29th of October, because that's what could be unfolding further for you now, Librans. Now, for a Libran person, Jupiter rules the 6th house Pisces in the 8th house, and this can really mitigate problems. So do be brave, do be courageous, do be, independent in your action, Librans, because you stand to land on your feet. Seriously, you do. With Jupiter as the ruler of a malefic house, sitting in a malefic house, problems can be overcome. Excuse me. Speak to that partner, speak to your business associate about where the money's going, or about how much support you're getting or not getting. You will be able to overcome the difficulties and overcome the problems and sort out the issues, because 6th house is problems. 6th house is things that need to be fixed. Going into the 8th house, to have a malefic lord in a malefic house, Jupiter being lord of the 6th house is ruling a malefic house. I'm sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Can allow you, with this energy, this combination this week, to find solutions to the problems, to turn things around 180 degrees, to make things better, and to break away from the difficulties. Jupiter is also the 3rd house lord, sitting in the 8th house. So you could find that you're breaking away from something with a business, a small business, or learning something new about a shamanic idea or an astrological idea. You might learn something new this week. But there can be sort of a shaking up of some sort of like, let's say you run your own business, Libra, as I do. You might be shaking up the status quo with that business this week. You might be moving more towards independence this week. You might be, through your bravery, turning, a business that was struggling and dying into something that blossoms and rises from the ashes. Could really happen for you this week through your bravery, or a pioneering idea, or the assertion of your willpower. So that's what I'm seeing for my Libran friends. Don't forget, Librans, that if you want a reading with me to see what's coming up in your life, or to explore a certain problem or something, readings are now available with me. Just go to the website, links in the description below. And remember that prices are in Australian dollars, which means if you're from America or from Europe paying in euros, you're going to get a bargain, because our exchange rate in Australia is rubbish. And so, you stand to gain. Come and order a reading from me. I'd love to explore your chart. Thank you, lovely Librans. Okay, Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, and Scorpio moon people. The energy of Jupiter conjunct Hamal is unfolding in your 7th house, and this is triggering the eclipse that occurred on the 29th of October. What was happening back then, Scorpio, in your life? Well, there could be an expansion of those themes that occurred the week before or the week after the 29th of October. This is a combination, Jupiter conjunct Hamal, of forceful action. And you might find that with other people, this is a house of other people, 7th house, you are required to take some forceful action. You are required to be assertive, to use your willpower in some situation with others. Could be your audience, could be your clients, could be your lover, your partner, your committed other. Could be a business collaboration that you're involved in, and you need to speak up. you need to be determined and you need to be brave about that situation. You know, this is also the realm of the chart that has to do with how we perceive other people. So you might be required to take action in that manner with other people, but your perception of other people might be that they are being brave, or that they are being pioneering, or they are asserting their power rather in some manner. How you're perceiving other people can be seen through this conjunction as well. This is, I would say this is actually a beneficial time for contracts and alliances and commitments, because any commitments or contracts that are signed now can really help you land on your feet. They might be contracts that, they have a lot of force behind them. This is the energy of Jupiter with Hamal. They might create a lot of independence by signing a contract, even a marriage contract. You might be, at this time with Jupiter conjunct Hamal, Scorpio, you might find that your relationship has a lot of independence flowing through it, and that's not a bad thing. You know, collaboration is good with a partner, be it business or marriage or whatever, but codependency is not good. So this energy of independence can be a blessing to a union where you're still your own person, you're still your own identity within a collaborative situation or a contractual situation. The one thing I would say, though, that you need to be aware of, Scorpio, is that this combination of Jupiter with Hamal can cause a flaring of tempers and frustration with authority figures. So this is the house of other people, and it is actually the 10th house from the 10th. So the authority figures, bosses, government officials and so forth that we see here could really be, I was going to say chapping your ass, which is an old expression, but they could be, making life hard for you. And that could be frustrating you under this energy. So don't be surprised if you see people in positions of power rubbing you the wrong way, annoying you, giving you the irrits this week, okay? Remember to remain calm and balanced as much as you can. I mean, Scorpios are very good at looking like they're calm and balanced on the outside, but they're like really irritated within. So have some strategies, go for a swim, or have an ice cream down the street and just watch the world go by. Like whatever you enjoy doing to help balance you and soothe you. Not a bad idea this week, as these authority figures, whoever they may be, frustrate you. It could be that you're in a business collaboration or a business partnership where somebody has a greater percentage of the shares than you do in the company, and they are just making some stupid decisions or something like that, and it's frustrating the hell out of you. So what are you going to do about it? Well, find your balance, find your harmony. Know that this is an energy that will pass, but there could be some frustration for a couple of days here. So keep that in mind. It could also be that tempers flare in a marriage situation, and that might cause you to have to, assert yourself, Scorpio. Be brave about saying what's irritating you. Don't just launch into a big argument and a big sort of volcanic explosion. Be brave about sharing your truth, speaking what's on your heart, what's on your mind to your partner. Because this is an energy for tempers flaring, but if you can be brave with your partner, then you can mitigate that frustrated energy, that irritable energy that might pop up. This is also the realm of the chart that tells us how we will act in our business dealings. So if you are in the middle of a business negotiation or doing some deal or some contract, you might be being very determined and very assertive, and that can really take you a long way. This is an energy, Jupiter conjunct Hamal, for landing on your feet. I will just say it's not an energy for financial speculation. So if you're entering into a business agreement or business deal that is going to be a bit risky financially, run away. Don't even, because this is not a good combination for financial speculations. But if the business has to do with something else, like maybe you're creating a contract for somebody to produce 20 astro wheels for you, then that's a business deal that's about a product. You could land on your feet. It could go really, really well for you by being forceful and saying, hey, no, your price is too steep. Let's work this out. You can do better. Da, 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 da. Be forceful, be, brave about confronting these things in your business dealings, and you could really land on your feet. But no financial speculations that are a bit, risky. Okay, so that's what I'm getting for Scorpio people. Keep in mind that Jupiter is also the 5th house lord ruling Pisces in your 7th house. So it could be, that's a nice combination for love. That means, I spoke about marriage contracts before. Again, it's a beautiful energy, amplification of love energy, of pleasure and fun and joy with a partner. So what I spoke to about marriage contracts before is blessed by Jupiter there. Also, Jupiter is the 2nd house lord, finances. Now, I just reiterate, this is not a good combination for speculations and risk-taking with finances. So hesitate, to go down that road, my beautiful Scorpio friends. But the 2nd house lord in the 7th might indicate that you are enjoying the pleasures of life, especially as Jupiter is the 5th house lord as well. You are enjoying the finer things of life, the pleasures, the luxuries of life with a partner this week. It could look like maybe, you go out to a restaurant and enjoy some fine dining, or you go to a concert, or you do some shopping or something with a partner, and it's fun and it's joyful and there's a lot of pleasure. So for our Scorpio friends, there stands to be some really nice blessing in that manner for our with someone else in a collaborative situation with others. Thank you, Scorpio. And don't forget, Scorpio, that I am doing readings now. And if you book a reading with me, it's in Australian dollars. So if you're from America or you're from Europe, you're getting a bargain because our exchange rate is rubbish. So come and get a nice, cheap Australian reading with me. I'd love to explore your chart. Links in the description below. Thank you, Scorpio. Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius sun, or moon people, feeling restless, Sagittarius today. So I'll just slow you down a bit there. The energy of the conjunction of your Lord, Sagittarius, your Lord Jupiter, with Hamal is occurring on the 23rd of November at 7 degrees of Taurus. Now this is very important because it's activating the recent eclipse that occurred on the 29th of October. So we're going to see more outflow of whatever was unfolding on around the 29th of October, a week before, a week after. You're going to see more of that potential of that eclipse and what it brought about unfolding in your life now. But this is occurring in the 6th house. So for a lot of our beautiful Sagittarius friends, this is going to see a need for bravery and a need for forceful action, perhaps in dealing with a debt. Or, I really feel for many of our Sagittarius people, it's going to be like, right, I need to sort my finances out and get out of this debt situation. So you're going to be taking some forceful, independent action towards doing that. It could also look like, there's some situation at work that requires you to be brave or pioneering or come up with a new idea. Jupiter conjunct Hamal is going to allow you to do that and create a better work situation where you land on your feet. Some of you Sagittarius people will land on your feet with resolving debt or even resolving a health issue. You can land on your feet provided you are taking action and not just sitting there on the couch watching Netflix twiddling your thumbs. You're taking action to make the change. You're moving towards with determination towards bringing in something new, being brave, establishing a new paradigm. So it could be that you're establishing a new exercise routine that's going to just bring more fitness into your life. It could be that you have heard about a naturopath who can help, get rid of certain toxins that might have been injected into the body. And you're like, I need to be brave enough to go see this naturopath, or any kind of medical practitioner who can help you with a certain health issue. Being brave, taking action. It could be, approaching somebody to ask for the money they owe you so you can get out of debt. You might need to be forceful about that sort of thing now. this is the energy for doing that. So it can be very supportive for overcoming adversity in life, whatever that looks like, health issue, poverty, debt, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. Take the action and you can overcome the adversarial situations. This is a house of where we struggle. And so any struggles that you're going through, my Sagittarius friends, you need to be forceful. You need to take action. You need to be determined to resolve them, and you will. Jupiter here is doing you a lot of favors in its conjunction with Hamal. This is also, it's a conjunction that can cause tempers to flare towards authority figures, but this is the house of subordinates and people who are in more disadvantaged situations than us. So less likely to see frustrations with authority figures here, but tempers may still flare with people who are undermining you or sort of your enemies, people who are not got your best interests at heart. You might find that there's a bit of a flare up of frustration with those sorts of people. Keep calm, let the energy pass by, try and cope with it as best you can and as consciously as you can. And if you need to, because this is a house of the visible enemies in your life, if you need to take forceful action, if you need to go to the police about something, maybe you need to deal with the authority figure because of some enemy that you're encountering, go and speak. Be brave enough to speak to the people in charge, like a police officer or a debt collector or someone like that where that needs to happen. Just know that authority figures can be a little bit frustrating under this combination, okay? So forewarned about that. Now, Sagittarius, you are ruled by Jupiter, and this is an experience or an activation of the first house lord in the sixth. Do take care of your health. Do take care of your physical fitness and your diet and your exercise this week. You need to be very conscious about that this week, more than at other times when Jupiter is not in a conjunction with a fixed star like Hamal. So, take action to get fit, redirection your life, and be brave about starting a new diet, do what you need to look after the body. First house is you and your bodily incarnation. Sixth house is the well-being of your body. Okay, so be conscious about that, take action about that, and get into it. Also, in a Sagittarius chart, Jupiter rules the fourth house. Fourth house lord in the sixth. This speaks to me of maybe debts or issues or problems with a home or a mother figure, for example. So reach out to your mother, connect with her, make sure everything's okay, that she's not suffering, that she, make sure you be on the front foot with care and love and concern for a mother figure in your life, but also with your home. Take action this week to fix any problems. Got a leaky roof? Fix it now before you get the next rainstorm come through. If there's something with the home, it's about this week of managing it, fixing it, restoring it, making it right, and you need to take action to do that. So I'm just reminding you, Saggy people, get onto that leaky roof or fix that difficult plumbing or, that plaster work that's falling down or something. Fix those problems this week. That's what this energy is saying. Get to it. Take action. Be determined. Sort it out. All right. Thank you, Sagittarius. Don't forget that readings with me are now available through the website. Links in the description below. And prices are in Australian dollars. So if you're from America or you're from Europe, it's an absolute bargain because the Australian dollar is crap compared to your euro and your US dollar. So come get a value for money reading with me. I'd love to explore your chart. Thank you, Sagittarius. Okay, Capricorn rising, Capricorn sun, Capricorn moon, people. So the energy of Jupiter in a conjunction with fixed star Hamal is playing out in your fifth house, my friends, this week. And that is where you're going to be able to take some independent action. If you've had a creative idea, Capricorn, something brilliant, something unique, something that's almost genius-like, don't let it sit there in the back of your mind just ticking away. Take action. Jupiter with Hamal is about taking action, using your determination and your willpower. You want to instigate that creative idea, that brilliant piece of genius that's come to you. Don't let this energy pass you by. It is offering itself for your benefit, Capricorn, to enhance your life in some way. So be brave and get out of your comfort zone and go pursue that creative idea. The fifth house is also the house of children. So it's your children who might be exhibiting Jupiter conjunct Hamal energy perhaps this week as well. So they might be moving with forceful action through the world. They might suddenly, get off their bed and be very determined about where they're heading, what they're doing. They might be exerting their willpower. If you've got little kids this week, they might be being, chucking the tantrum, stomping their foot, because fifth house is children, and Jupiter conjunct Hamal can give frustration with authority figures. You're their authority figure if you're their parent. So they might be getting really frustrated with you. There might be a flaring of tempers with you, just annoyance with you as a parent. So be the gracious parent, be conscious. Know that this is not, 2-year-old temper tantrums. It is the energy that is playing out in the skies. Love your children. Doesn't mean give in to them, but love your children, even when they're cranky and upset. Your children, in a more positive expression, might be being more pioneering this week, brave this week. And, if you observe them being courageous and brave, make sure that you honor that. Courage and bravery is, something that we really value in society and needs to be upheld and pat on the back when we see it happening. Not only that, but if you are a person trying to move in celebrity circles or become an influencer, as everybody seems to be wanting to be these days, then this is a time, Jupiter conjunct Hamal, Capricorn, when you can be pioneering about putting yourself forward. You can be brave about putting yourself forward, and you may just land on your feet, particularly if you have your fifth house manifestation point at 7 degrees of Taurus. This is a time this week where you might have a rise in recognition, a rise in popularity, a growth in celebrity, because that's also what the fifth house is all about. So keep that in mind as well. This energy here is very much about ego validation. Not the energy of fifth house is about ego validation. What do you need to do to validate your ego? And with Jupiter conjunct Hamal here, it's saying that you, in order to sort of soothe your own ego or make you feel good about yourself, make you feel a sense of self-love and self-worth, you need to take action. You need to be somebody on the front foot. You need to be independent in what you're doing. Okay, everybody else is saying, pink's the latest color this season, and you've got to dress in pink, or you've got to, any art that you produce has to have a pink element in it. And you're like, fuck, no way. I want to bring in some deep wine colors. I want to get passionate with my artwork on what I wear, or, my self-expression or something. So be independent. Don't follow the status quo. This energy, Jupiter Hamal, is about being independent and asserting your will. Do it in your creative self-expression, and you will feel a sense of ego validation. I am not a sheep following everybody else. I am being true unto myself. By doing that, you'll feel a sense of worth and value that could really be that lovely piece of energy of upliftment for your soul. So that's really what I'm feeling into for Capricorn people. But also, we know that Jupiter rules in a Capricorn chart the third house Pisces. So this could see, because the fifth house is a house of blessing, an amplification of blessing for a small business being run by a Capricorn rising sun or moon person. So you might find that your business flourishes this week. You get more popularity in your business, or your skills and abilities and talents are somehow really enhanced this week, Capricorn. You've been trying to learn, wood carving or something like that, and suddenly it all gels for you. You get this sense of genius about how to do wood carving or something. Third house is your skills and talents, particularly the skills and talents of the hands. The practical craftsmanship is third house. And fifth house is our genius and our joy. And so you might get a lot of joy this week out of that. And the more brave you are with trying something new for your business, or trying something new in craftsmanship and skills and talents, or learning something new, the more brave you are, the more courageous you are with learning those things or trying something new for your business, the more reward and blessing can come your way, Capricorn, as a result of Jupiter being the third house lord and the fifth. Not only that, but the 12th house lord is also Jupiter, rules Sagittarius. So this could actually be speaking to a conclusion of something, a wrapping up of something, and that could be related to your children. Maybe your children are moving out of a phase, out of their toddlerhood and into sort of, real child, embracing being the child. That can happen, and believe me, it happens all too fast, and it's gone in a heartbeat. But there's an end of a phase for your child in some way this week, and that comes with your child being able to assert themselves in a new manner. Hamal, fixed star, they are asserting their bravery and their independence, which is taking them out of one phase of childhood and into maybe another phase, which is speaking to the 12th house lord, and ending, a wrapping up, a conclusion of something. So powerful energy in that regard for Capricorns. Don't forget, Capricorn, that readings are available with me now, available through the website, but they're also in Australian dollars, which makes it very cheap if you're in the USA or Europe, because our exchange rate is rubbish. Yeah, so you're going to get a bargain. Let me read your chart for you. Come and make a booking for a reading with me at the website. Links in the description below. Thank you, Capricorn. All right, Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, or Aquarius moon, people. Well, the energy of Jupiter conjunct Hamal this week is very importantly activating the eclipse that occurred, the eclipse that occurred back in October on the 29th. So what was happening for you the week before that and the week after that? It's going to be expanded upon or influenced again by this conjunction of Jupiter with Hamal. This might be having something to do with your fourth house, Aquarius. So it could be that this is the house of emotion, and this Jupiter conjunct Hamal brings out forceful action and an energy of independence. You might be feeling emotionally independent now. Like, I just don't need to lean on anybody else at the moment. I want to do me, might be what you're feeling. Feeling independent. You might be feeling emotionally brave as well, like courageous, like you want to go your own way. Now, this is very Aquarian anyway, so it's like an amplification of who you are. You want to be yourself, be your uniqueness, and follow your own path, dance to the beat of your own drum. So very much what Jupiter conjunct Hamal is all about. But you're going to feel this in your spirit. It's going to be in like the core strength of who you are that you're going to feel this. Not in your circumstances, but in you. The fourth house rules our life foundation. And so you can really establish a stronger foundation for who you are by being independent this week, by taking the road less traveled, by choosing yourself, being pioneering, being brave with this energy. Now, this is also the realm of the chart that has to do with maternal figures, mother figures, and let's face it, they are, for a good portion of our life, an authority figure in our lives. Well, Jupiter conjunct Hamal can cause frustration with authority figures. So you might be irritated with a maternal figure this week. So your mother might push your buttons, or it could be an aunt or a grandmother or somebody from the maternal line, or even somebody who's not blood related to you but who has that maternal role in your life, might be really rubbing you the wrong way, causing you irritation and flare-ups of temper. So remain as conscious as you can. Don't sort of burn your bridges but allow yourself to speak your truth. Be courageous enough to say, hey, you're really crossing the line here. This is a boundary and you're way over it. Be brave enough to talk to people, confront people, but don't give in to anger and volatility. Okay? Be conscious enough to avoid that, but brave enough to assert your independence as well, with a mother figure, as I said. Now, there's also this sphere, the fourth house, has to do with your actual home, buildings, land, domestic life. And so you might find that there's something that you need to address in your home and address in your domestic life that you need to be very assertive about. Maybe, for example, your family in your home are taking advantage of you. You're always the one cleaning the kitchen and they never lift a finger. Well, maybe you need to be assertive and say, hey, come on, this domestic environment's working well for you, but not for me, and we're a team here. Let's all pitch in. Maybe you need to assert there. Maybe you might be feeling, Aquarius, like you need independence in where you live. I've had enough of living with mum and dad. I'm going to go find my own unit and start, living life on my terms. Some of you might be experiencing that kind of energy. You want some sort of independence with where you live. And now is a great energy for putting some willpower and determination into doing that. So it can be very exciting in that manner for many of our Aquarian friends. What else can I say about the fourth house? It has to do with it where if we run a business from home, or inherited family businesses are seen from here as well. So some of you might have been considering, how do I run a business from home? How do I leave the frustrating authority figures in my life and go and establish my own consultancy where I can run it out of my spare room or something like that? This energy gives you the ability to be pioneering, and even can help you land on your feet regarding that. So if you've been considering doing consultancy or running a business from home, out of your garage or whatever, this energy can give you, not saying it's going to necessarily be successful, I'd need to see your own chart and what other dynamics are playing out, but this energy can give you the determination to go for it now. And generally speaking, this is an energy of landing on your feet. So also Jupiter is the ruler of the second house, and when we've got the second house lord moving through the fourth house, it is a time where you can make money from working from home, where you can get a lot of pleasure and satisfaction out of being in your home environment. It can also indicate prosperity or money returns coming from real estate, either real estate investment or sales, that kind of thing as well, property investment. Also, Jupiter happens to be the ruler of the 11th house, so a very rewarding position at the moment for Aquarian people when it comes to dealing with land. You can get some gainfulness and rewards, again, through working from home. You can get gainfulness and rewards through real estate and property development, like renovating a property and flipping it and selling it and so on. So I see, because Jupiter is a very auspicious planet for Aquarius people. It rules the second house, wealth house, and the 11th house, wealth house. Jupiter's movement is very important to observe if you're an Aquarian person, to understand what you should be focusing on for prosperity in any given year. And for you guys, it happens to be in land, property, or a family-run business, or working from home. So time for focusing on that and having some courage and bravery around those things as well. So my Aquarian people, I just want to mention that I am doing readings at this point in time for people. And if you would like a reading with me, they're available through the website, but they're also in Australian dollars. And that means it's a bargain for anybody who is in America using US dollars or Europe using euros, because the Australian exchange rate is crap. And so you're going to get a real bargain reading from me. Head to the website, book your reading. I'd love to explore your astro chart. Alrighty. And Pisces rising, sun or moon people, the energy of Jupiter conjunct Hamal is affecting your third house. Now this is triggering the point of the recent eclipse on the 29th of October again. So what was happening the week before the 29th of October and the week after, Pisces? It's likely to get a reactivation now with this conjunction, Jupiter with Hamal. So what is it going to bring? Well, we're going to see or it's actually not see externally, it's you requiring to take action regarding third house things, Pisces. This is an energy of bravery. This is an energy of forceful action. It's about an energy of being full of willpower, full of determination regarding the third house. So it means if you run a business, Pisces, if you have a small business, which is a third house thing, then it is time to be brave. It's time to assert your willpower, to take action in some way. So maybe you've been thinking of some idea you want to implement, or a new product you want to bring to your offering. It's time. Take that action. This is an energy of momentum and movement on that topic. Now, the third house also has to do with our relatives, our neighbors, our siblings, workshop groups, that sort of thing. I want to just say this is an energy where you might feel frustrated with those people in your life. There could be a flare-up of irritation. And that being said, certainly I'll just tell you a story. For me, during the eclipse season, I had a terrible experience with somebody in my life who fits this bill. And I just really don't want to see another flare-up with that person. So it was just awful. But forewarned, forearmed, this is an energy where that may happen again, because during the eclipse, there was a high level of irritation that was happening from a person who was a very third house person. So I am aware that this is going to happen, or may be one of the manifestations of this. I might be irritated yet again because of this. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be conscious. I'm going to have to tap into Jupiter conjunct Hamal if this should flare up again with this person, and be brave and be assertive with this person. So be aware, my beautiful Pisces friends, this could be the same for you. It could be a friend who rubbed you the wrong way during the eclipse. It could be a neighbor. It could be, like I said, somebody in a workshop group that you're part of. It could be a tradesperson that you had to deal with. Somebody running their own business rubbed you the wrong way. It could be anybody. So be forewarned, forearmed about that. But back to how you can utilize this energy this week, my friends. Well, it's very pioneering. So take some time, go to the coffee shop and write down in your dream journal. I have one, like not my night dream journal, but my goals, my ambitions, my dreams, my aspirations. I have a journal for that. Go and have a coffee at the coffee shop and think in pioneering new ways. What could you do, to create a side hustle, or to generate your own income? Like Pisces, the third house is all about the money that you can generate. It's the second house from the second. It's the money that you can make from your talents and skills and abilities. So take the time to think about what you could do and then put it into action, because this Jupiter with Hamal is a very active force. So it's time for taking action. It's time for asserting your willpower. It's time for being pioneering. It's time for being courageous. It's time for being brave, knowing that this combination is also an energy for landing on your feet. So look at your skills and talents. How can you make money from them? This is a time for moving forward with those areas of our life. It could mean that instead of planning, as I'm referring to here, you actually go and book a table at the local farmer's market to sell your zucchinis that you've grown. It could look like I'll use a market scenario again. There's a market in the town where I live where a woman she dresses in purple robes and she's got the big velvet purple curtains and all that kind of stuff, but she does astrology readings at a local market. Maybe it's time for you to go and step out of your comfort zone and try doing something like that. Whatever it is, it's your skill, your talent, your ability. How can you utilize that, and how can you enhance that even more? It's time for focusing on that at this time. This is an energy of bravery, Jupiter conjunct Hamal. Not only that, it's in the house of courage. So really, Pisces, it's time for being courageous in some area of life. It's time for not being afraid, stepping out of the comfort zone to make your life better, to increase the benevolence in your life, whatever that looks like. Maybe you need to look at, getting a second job, and you need to be courageous about, undertaking that. Maybe you need to perhaps get a certificate in some sort of skill set that you've always thought would be good, and you need to be courageous about going for that now. This is very much the energy. The third house is also sort of localized trips, movement, restlessness, so it can be associated with change. So in that sense, it's likely that there'll be some movement on the cards for you this week, Pisces. You might be traveling a little bit in some manner. Now, also in a Pisces chart, obviously Jupiter here is your ruler of the first house. First house lord and the third being activated through this conjunction with Hamal. What this is saying is that it's time for you to physically show up and be present with your skills, with your abilities in your business. You need to sort of, if you're running a small business, you need to put your face and your charisma and your personality on your small business this week. Maybe, I don't know, there's plenty of astrologers on YouTube who don't show their faces. They're just, they'll have an image, or they'll have, show their hand, or they'll show a chart, but not their face. Well, this week, Pisces, it's time for revealing yourself with your small business or your social media account. It's time for asserting yourself by bringing your presence to something. Maybe some communications, maybe you sign off on a job application with a little photograph of you on the resume or something like that. But you've got to bring your presence, your personality to some correspondence, to some social media, to your small business, to a workshop group, or maybe you've got a tradesperson working on a house for you, and you've been in the state next door. Well, maybe this week you need to go show up and be present at that trade site so they know you're on the ball. Your physical presence is there. A couple of examples. Now, not only that, but also for a Pisces person, Jupiter rules the 10th house. And so this is the 10th house lord and the third getting activated. This means you're going to be busy this week with, maybe having to run a lot of third house things, administration, planning, strategizing. You're going to be the person who's doing all the high level jobs, Pisces, like in your career, but also all the menial administration tasks as well. This week is a busy week for Pisces because of that combination. So that's what I'm seeing for our Pisces friends unfolding in the week ahead. I want to let you know, Pisces, also that readings are now available with me. They're available by going to the link in the description below. But I want to just remind you guys that the prices for readings with me are in Australian dollars on my website. So if you're from Europe or the USA, it's a bargain, because the Australian dollar to the euro, the Australian dollar to the US dollar is crap. So you can get a real bargain reading with me if you've always wanted one. Head to the website and make your purchase now. I'd love to explore your astrology chart. Thank you, my Pisces friends. And finally, Aries rising, Aries sun, and Aries moon people. The energy of Jupiter conjunct Hamal is activating the energy of the eclipse that occurred on the 29th of October. And so what was happening before that 29th of October, the week before and the week after, it's likely to get a re-amplification in the next 11 days, my friends. So on the 23rd of October, Jupiter in a conjunction with fixed star Hamal. This brings some forceful energy to the second house. It means like the second house is the resources that are there to support your body's journey. And it's going to be you instigating things, Aries. You're very good at this. You're very good at taking action. But the Jupiter with Hamal is a forceful energy. It's a willful, determined energy, and it's by, applying those characteristics to how you are making money that you can see some flourishing in life. So, be brave, be determined, be pioneering. All good Aries qualities, I must add, when it comes to making stuff. If you're at an auction house bidding on a piece of artwork or something like that, be forceful, be brave, be determined. You will land on your feet. It'll pay off in the long run for you to apply those sorts of things to acquiring goods, to making money. Really, the second house has to do with the acquisition of stuff, artworks, cars, jewelry, food in your pantry, or it's getting stuff. It's not just money, it's stuff. And the third house is really the house of how we can make money from our skills and abilities and talents. Okay? So this is the stuff, and this is how we make the money from our skills and abilities and talents. Okay? So really, when it comes to acquiring stuff, spending money, going out there and, investing or purchasing, be assertive, be forceful, be determined, be brave, be courageous. Now, I'm not saying go and spend everything in your bank account. Still be sensible. But when if you want to purchase that new shag painting that's come out, and you've got to go to, some sort of auction or whatever to get it, then be present, be determined, be brave. Jupiter conjunct Hamal will help you. I will just say that Jupiter conjunct Hamal can be difficult for dealing with financial authority figures, bank managers. It's not a good week for dealing with a bank manager. It's not a good week for making financial speculations, okay? Purchasing physical things, yes. Financial speculations, no. This energy is not supportive. Dealing with a bank manager, you're going to get irritated, you're going to get annoyed and frustrated. So maybe postpone your bank meeting until after this energy is dissipated, 11 days after the 23rd of November. Heads up. Okay, so this is also the realm of the chart that has to do with how we use our voice. And I want to encourage you, Aries people, be brave about speaking up. Be brave about sharing your truth. Be brave about saying what is on your heart. You might even get an opportunity with Jupiter conjunct Hamal to talk on a radio station or be on a podcast or asserting yourself in some way with the voice, using your words, using your vocal cords. That's where it's at this week. But also Jupiter in an Aries chart rules the 12th house. 12th house Lord in the second. So that can really be that you might feel this week as Jupiter's being activated with its conjunction with Hamal, that maybe things are a little out of control financially. And if they do feel that way, know that it's probably the divine pulling some strings, orchestrating some things for you. Not that you want to feel, nobody likes to feel out of control financially, but the 12th house Lord might see the divine stepping in and, puppeting the things. It also can see some endings and some wrapping up of financial or material circumstances. You go and you assert yourself and you're brave about purchasing that shag painting and it completes your collection. There's the end of the story. Wrapping up your financial investment in shag paintings, So that's just one example. But some sort of wrapping up of a financial situation can occur. 9th house Lord is also ruled by Jupiter. And the 9th house Lord is in the second. This is a blessed combination. So once again, with purchasing, spending, creating, collections, storing things, you can be blessed. 9th house Lord, a blessing house going into being activated in the second house of stuff and financial material goods. So you're going to be blessed this week. You will land on your feet. Don't be afraid, my Pisces friends. Once again, though, keep in mind, no speculations, no risk taking with money, but purchasing, acquiring, spending money is not against these principles. It's only like like putting money on the stock market or betting on the horses or something like that. Speculations, financial speculations, not encouraged. Jupiter is the god of gambling, and when he's with Hamal, it's actually not beneficial to gamble or risk your money. But all the other things I've mentioned, it is good energy for. I just want to let you know, Aries, that I am offering readings at the moment and they are available at the website. It's in Australian dollars. So if you're from the USA or Europe, it's a bargain because our exchange rate for the Australian dollar is rubbish. Come and get a reading with me. I'd love to explore your chart, and it's available through the link in the description below. Thank you one and all for joining me for this week's Astro Weather. It's going to be quite fascinating what unfolds, and I hope to be back with you next week to talk about the outcome and what might be coming up in the week ahead. I'll catch you then.